What's up, everybody? And today we're going to be watching Christian, who's a young up-and-coming heavyweight in the United States, who asked me to break down his videos. Now, if you guys would like your videos broken down, make sure you email them to travis.videoreviews@gmail.com. There'll be a link in the description down below. Just shoot me over an email, let me know who you are, and I'll be happy to break down your videos. Now, he sent 2 videos, so let's get into match number 1. Here we are in match number 1. He is going against a very well-respected international judo player. This is a Mongolian player who competed on the world stages for years and years. Okay, I believe he medaled in 2012 at the Olympics. I believe he got a bronze, but again, he was a top player for a lot of years. And remember, Christian's a young, up-and-coming heavyweight. So let's get into this match here. So here we are. Christian's in blue right here. You can see him working out with the Mongolian, who's a coach here at this training center. And they seem to be a little bit playful, right? They must work out together all the time. Let's just take a look here and just watch the first little bit. So let's pause the video right there and just take a look at one of the grips he's using. And it's one I'm not really a fan of. Okay, let's back it up just a little bit more here, there. You can see his hand where he's not grabbing the collar and he's not grabbing the sleeve. And he's actually underneath his partner's armpit. The problem with this grip, specifically with this player, because it does have its uses, right? The Japanese use it a lot. But against this particular player, I don't really find it that useful. Again, his partner is shorter than him. And if we look here at the video, it's causing his shoulder here to be pulled down, and not down at a manageable angle, right? It's well past 90 degrees. And it's very low on his chest, which is not, a good defensive position, and it's not really creating much offense for him at the same time. So I prefer if I just never saw him go for that particular grip. The other thing when we pause the video here that I'm seeing is he's got a nice square stance to his partner. As a righty, it's important that that right foot stays forward all the time, and it's something we really got to pay attention to here in the video. It's a pause video, so I'm not really sure he could just be in the middle of changing his stance or getting his right foot back to forward. He is a heavyweight, so he will move a little bit slower than his partner. But again, we want to make sure it's always in the forward position, at least when we're gripping. Let's continue on here. And let's see. So right here, we have to make sure that we're first, right? Regardless of size, regardless of skill, you want to be the offensive person. It's how you get better. In this little image right here, I can't see what's going on over here in this far corner right here, but I bet you that Mongolian is playing with his sleeve. He's doing something on that side that's distracting Christian from establishing this hand. And you can tell by his hand position, it's low right here. It's below his chest, but it's also not in a position to play defense, right? His hand is closed and he's not actively engaging with it, which is what it should be doing. That's an offensive hand. It's the sleeve hand. It's the hand that posts high on the chest that creates all of your offense. Messing around with that right hand isn't something you should be doing at this stage in the game. Yeah, see, we can see Christian's established that right hand on the collar, and all he did was give that Mongolian his sleeve. And now we're settled into this hand back here underneath the arm that, again, I really wish it was inside, and I really wish he fought to get it inside. I do like that he's trying to create some kind of offense. Like, he realizes he's in a bad spot, and he's got to do something, but, again, that hand can't be there. Let's go ahead and pause this video really quick and just back it up a second. Right? We're in a position right here where, we got nothing really going for us, right? He's basically got both hands stuck on his partner's hips here where he's trying to like steer the wheel. You know what I mean? When this happens and our partner they've gotten into such a dominating grip, the one thing that's really important for us to work on as athletes is our get out of jail free card. And what that means is we have some sort of attack that, allows us to knock our opponent to the ground or get out of a bad situation safely where we're not going to get a Shido and our partner has to play defense. In my athletic career, one of the ones I used a lot was a sumi and a tomonagi. I also had big hips, so I could throw my hip across my partner and get a good lift, and then we would both kind of stumble to the ground. And it would be a good way of getting some offense off while I wasn't feeling exactly comfortable to make a real commitment to the throw. And I feel like Christian needs something like that here, where he can throw a big attack to get out of this situation, because his partner does have his neck, does have control of the sleeve, and eventually he's going to start creating some good movement and some good offense from it. So let's let this play through. The other important thing to note as a heavyweight, right, as you're working around, your posture is the most important. Christian's doing a great job of keeping his posture. That was a good shot right there. I actually like that. You know, here we are. He needs to stay a little bit heavier on that arm, keeping it out and away from the body. See, that's a good attack by the Mongolian there if you didn't pay attention to it. He hit him with the sasai. He knows that he can't just arbitrarily just turn his back and throw a heavyweight of Christian size. So he used the grip to control, and then he knocked him to the floor. And he's just kind of establishing dominance, I guess, so to speak, in this position. So let's see what happens here. I guess we had a tape malfunction. Christian, man, you got to go after him, man. He's a retired athlete. You can't just let him catch his breath. You got to stay on him here. Oh, now we got some guy just standing in the way of the video. Not paying attention. Let's see here. Come on, buddy. Yep, pay attention. Oh, you looked right past the guy filming. Come on. You got to be more aware. But again, Christian's got that right hand here on the collar following. We can't do that. Regardless of size, you can't give up that right sleeve, and you can't follow. And again, look where that left hand is. It's not in a position where he's controlling his partner's sleeve or stopping his chest from turning. Okay, well, we're working that hand high. We can't. We got to break down the arm first. Let's back up so we can take a look at that. So right here, it's when you're in this position and you're Christian and you have a high grip, but your partner is still posted on the chest, you should know that you can't just throw an attack in there, right? Because your partner has too much control. He can turn on it. He can play defense. This hand here, it's basically at a 90 from his chest. Like, his partner's back is straight up. His right foot is slightly forward, which is good. That hand has got a good high post on the chest. So what Christian needs to do right now is he's gotten within range of his partner here. So this right hand has to start disrupting this grip and this elbow. You can do that in a few different ways, right? You could be snapping your elbow in to create pressure on that stiff right arm to help bend it. You could be doing a turning action with your hands, using your feet for foot sweeps, getting him to stumble. Because every time he moves his feet, that means his arms and his chest are a little bit less stable. Okay, so you can try to time it where you use your feet to stumble, and then you break down his posture and his defenses with your arms. Yeah, and you can see that good solid defense from the Mongolian. And eventually he gets that hand down. He's got a good seio, so we got to be careful with that cross grip. Oh, Christian. The motion got to you. It's expected, though. You're a heavyweight. But they did say in his email, this is Christian's like 8th round in a row, so I get it. Especially if you're in Texas and the heat. That's a lot. Christian, we need decisive gripping here, right? No matter how tired you are, right? I'm going to back this up a little bit. No matter how tired you are, you should know, like, when I start a match, my hand goes here or here. There's not a lot of options, right? You shouldn't have more than 3. So the fact that your hands are kind of, waving around, it's almost like a reactionary type of judo. But you're a big kid. You need to start putting some pressure on your partner to get them to crumble and then open up. Again, that right hand being on the gi first got your sleeve stolen. We can't do that. Left hand on the gi first. Right hand plays defense to block your collars and your sleeve. Left hand is offense, going after the collar, going after the sleeve at all times. Yeah, and you can see the Mongolian here really, really staying on his shoulder over here, making sure that that right hand can't get into a good position. Because if he can control it, Christian, you can't do much offense, right? So we got to make sure we protect it, and we use our left hand to get on that gi first, and then move our partner around, which is essentially what he's doing to you here. Now he's just kind of burning the clock out. After the first match here, Christian, you're doing a good job of keeping your posture, which is one of the most important things for a heavyweight and ones that they all struggle with. Because they're big guys, they can't let somebody that's even a little bit bigger bend them over, or even smaller, right? Heavyweights are very strong. So the fact that you're able to keep your head up, even though that Mongolian's pulling down your head, and I know he's a strong guy, okay? He's a world ranked player. He's medaled at the Olympic Games. He's physically very strong, and he's talented. Okay, but one of the things we really want to make sure we're working on is hand positioning. Okay, making sure our hands are in the right place on the gi when they're supposed to be. Okay, that right hand can't be the first one on the gi. It's okay to put the right hand on the gi first if you attack off the grip. You're not taking more than a step or two before you try to throw your partner. Other than that, you want your left hand on the gi first on the left side of the body, okay? Making sure that you can prevent him from coming through on any of his attacks. And you really want to try to control that sleeve, because if you have that sleeve, you can really control the tempo of the match. If we reverse the roles, you can see when that Mongolian, he catches your sleeve, that's when he's able to get to your neck and control the tempo of the fight. Let's make sure that we're a little bit more aggressive with our gripping, making sure that we're there first. But let's take a look at the second match that you sent me against the Korean national champ. So here we are for match number 2. Let's take a look at what we got here. Oh, and it's an actual match setup, so that's nice. And he's another righty. And he's somebody your size and your pace, so this would be a good indication of what we got to work with. I don't know if I agree with that. I'm with you, Christian. Yeah, that didn't make too much sense, especially for a club match. I didn't see anything wrong. I mean, this is obviously a phone recording, but it's a club match. You can't Shido a guy in 5 seconds. So the Korean player does look very composed, would be a good word choice, where he's got his chest up nice and tall. He's fighting with his hands up by his shoulders. And he's basically looks like, yeah, like he wants you to grab his gi, because he knows once he gets a grip, he'll be in a good situation to score. Can't be standing left-handed though, Christian. You're a right-handed player. We got to stay right-sided. Good defense. Oh, you got to work on the ground, man. You got to work on the ground. Heavyweight or not, you got to have some tachi-waza. We can't have that right hand on the gi. Yeah, see? We just can't be... Yeah. That's okay. I'm okay with that. It wasn't the cleanest drop sale, obviously, but it's a competition style setting, so you do need to make sure you get some attacks off. No, always circle to your left, Christian. He's a righty. Always to your left. Always towards that lead sleeve so that you can control it. I'm gonna pause the video right here. Let's pause it for a second. Let's back up a little bit right here. I understand that we are locked up in a kind of 50-50 style situation where your partner has a collar and he has the sleeve, and you have the collar and you kind of have the sleeve. The problem I have with your particular sleeve grip is it's near the tricep area, where I'd rather see it down by the end of his wrist, where you can roll your chin kind of over the top of that wrist, and you can start creating pressure and pushing it and bouncing it down and off your gi jacket, really creating some problems for the Korean guy to even hold on to it. And the more it slides down the gi, the less effective it is for him, and the more effective it is for you. So by not attacking the wrist with the end of the sleeve, I feel like it's a lost opportunity. Okay, and I don't know if, I'm assuming you guys are using these these red squares here, or the red square is like a border. So if you get him to step out, it would be a shido. When you're in this type of scenario, it's important that with his back to the edge of the mat right here, even though you're in a 50-50 scenario, pump faking and snapping the gi and moving quickly and jolting could get him to flinch into some defense where you could just give a little flick of the wrist and then get him to step out and get up a shido in this particular scenario. Assuming that you're using the border here to hand out shidos and stuff. Yeah, and I think the Korean looking at it kind of like nodded towards it. Not sure I agree with that one either. You did just attack with the drop Seo, and he attacked, you know, the one before that, so that seems a little fast as well. But again, there you are with that, you know, above the elbow kind of tricep grip, right? You'd really want to walk that hand to the end of the sleeve and then start creating pressure against his grip. Right here, let's pause that. This would have been a great time for you to attack. This was like, you can't ask as a right-handed player a better scenario, right? Because right here, you, even though this right hand here is over the top, you still have the collar, and it looks like you're controlling his sleeve. Okay, it might not be the best grip, but it does look like you have it. But the thing that's really, I want you to pay attention here is the stances. This Korean is right-sided, okay? But something happened when you took his sleeve, and right here, he's changed his stance. He's now fighting left-sided. You should have kept that right hand here, because this would have been a great idea to like Ochigari, Uchimata, anything of that nature. Because he's not left-handed, his defense to that particular throw wouldn't have been as strong as it would have if you had tried to set it up while he was in a right-handed stance. So I feel like this was a big missed opportunity for you. And you could see it, that Korean just changed his stance for a second to break that grip and then throw it down your back. So you really want to make sure you get your attacks off first. You want to be in the right position at the right time. There you go. Oh, that was a great shot. I probably would have used that Sasai to set up the Osoto because you finally had his neck. Sasai probably wasn't the strongest technique. I feel like it was a safe one for you where you knew you weren't going to get countered. But go big or go home. Especially against a guy of this caliber, right? If he's Korean national champ, then he's a talented judo player. But anyways, after watching both of your matches, a couple of things that I feel like you should be working on is A, controlling the sleeve, especially against righties, making sure that that's your first grip. And if it's not, you're at least posted on the chest with your hand on their collar so that you can transition to the sleeve. Another thing I never really saw was when you have both collars, I'm not seeing a big offensive throw. You know, a Harai, an Osoto, an Ochi. You know, something that's really big that you're putting all of your effort and energy into. I feel like if you could throw from double collars and you could control the sleeve, I mean, obviously I would like to say you could throw from the sleeve. So let's not talk about there. You probably do all of your judo from there. But being able to do it from a double collar where you feel stuck would be a great opportunity to get some good attacks off. And I feel like you're ending up there quite a bit anyways. So maybe throws on the crash pad, do some uchikomis, do some lifting uchikomis just to feel more comfortable from attacking from that position. But overall, you know, your posture, your movement, everything looks fairly solid. I just think that attack ratio needs to go up. Well, there you have it, guys. There's my review of Christian's video. I can't thank him enough for sending it in. It was a pleasure to get to watch and see. If you guys want me to review any of your home footage or competition footage, whether you won or whether you lost, or if they're just training rounds like this on things that I see that I think you could improve on, please send them to travis.videoreviews@gmail.com. I'll leave that in the description below. But until next time, safe training.